Yo, another day in the lab, baby. So it's always a good day.
Oh,
it's always a good day when we in the lab. You want policing to be better in your communities? The best policing that you can that can happen in any community are people that's actually from the community and that.
Once again, Rick, host BNY podcast, now known as What Happened Week with BNY Dev. How you feeling, man?
I'm in here.
What's good, comment section?
Here.
Do we drag our people down when sometimes they don't deserve it? For sure, absolutely. In this situation, this man deserves every single dragging that we can do because this is not an example of us.
But you got the angles. You got the knowledge of the game, bro.
This is where you're getting at, the IQ.
Down. Like he's telling you what's going on. He was a bad husband. He was just doing things his way. He's apologizing to his wife like, yo.
Pat ourselves on the back for that one because we didn't give yourself awards. I mean, who is?
Yeah, no boy.
Hey.
Go ahead and let that Bonaparte ride on out. Shout out to Bonaparte, by the way. Much love for the groove. Dropping that intro for us boys over here in BNY. And then with that being said, we live, baby. We live. Welcome. Facebook and YouTube land. It's your boy Dev today. Rick will be here shortly, so I'm going to be holding it down on my end. This evening, we have some very esteemed guests we've been trying to get on for literal months. Southern Maryland Bus Union representatives, we really appreciate you all being here. Everyone in Facebook, make sure y'all come through and show us some love. And as we conduct this interview this evening. So, sorry about the BNY bugs, like to show out when the cameras go live. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
Everyone made it, found it safely. Everyone found it okay. Everyone's good to go, hydrated, ready to, talk about what we need to talk about this evening. It's a pleasure having you all here once again. As you all know, it's your boy Dev Ray. As I said, Ricky will be here shortly, but we're going to hold it down tonight. We're going to first go around the room with some introductions. You guys kind of let the world know who you all are, position, Charles County, a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to kind of jump right into it, okay? So, Miss Crystal, ladies first, we're going to start with you.
I'm Crystal Stoney. I'm actually a bus driver / attendant for Duffy Transportation. A little bit about me. I am a retired law enforcement officer from out of D.C., 28 years in, been retired since 2012. And the one thing that I love to talk about that shocks everybody, I am the grandmother of 24 and 25 will be in September.
Hey, congratulations, though. Shout out to that.
I am blessed to be married to a very lovely man, my husband, Daryl Stoney, who is watching tonight. And my family, who are my biggest supporters.
Absolutely.
And I am one of the union reps that got us started in Charles County.
Okay, excellent. Shout out to the grandkids. 24 and 25 will be here soon. That's awesome. That's amazing. Okay, all right. Mr. Earl says it's on you next, huh? He passing the bucket all to you. Make sure you spin the mic towards you.
Well, good evening. My name is Jerome Ned. I'm here because my lovely wife has brought me to this area of the country. I'm from California. I'm also a bus driver here in Charles County. Have been for the last, I guess I started right before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, I've worked with these wonderful people in helping to change and hopefully bring about livable wages for the bus drivers here in Charles County.
Just a second, Mr. Drum. They're saying we're getting some feedback that they can't hear you. We're probably just going to have to do the pass the mic, honestly. That way we can kind of get it more directly towards you. So.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, just a second. Facebook land. Let me fix this.
So you want me to start again?
Yes, if you don't mind, just kind of picking up.
All right. Again, my name is Jerome Ned. I'm here from California because I'm married to a wonderful woman, Mary Bowman, and I'm a bus driver. Have been now since right, I guess at the beginning of the COVID issue, and I've been fortunate in working with Crystal here, Mr. Beatty, in bringing about a change to the many people here who are bus drivers and attendants at in Charles County. So that's pretty much I have unlike Crystal, I just have 4 grandkids, and my oldest granddaughter is getting ready to get married. So it's every day's a blessing.
Absolutely.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank you for inviting us. And I do know that you guys have tried for a while. And what we wanted to do was to get some victories under our belt before we came out. And that way we could explain what we're doing, what our goal and what our mission is. My name is Earl Beatty. I was with Metro for 30 years, retired, and 15 years of those years I spent with the union, Amalgamated Transit Union Local 689. And in that, my role as an officer with the union was part of it was organizing. So I have been blessed to work with some of the most intelligent folks that I've ever worked with in organizing, being it Mr. Ned, Crystal, and there are 2 others that are missing, Mr. Weathersby and Miss Washington, who is the spiritual leader, and she was the one that actually got us together. Mr. Crystal, this is her, I believe, second or third time around trying to organize, and it failed. Not on because of her, it failed because of people. I don't think people were ready, but I think with the economy and COVID and other things, we were just here at the right time and the right people together to make this thing go and to move forward. And I give all the credit to this gentleman here, who he's being modest tonight. I don't know why, but he's a retired firefighter. He's ran several corporations, and his newsletter and his input has been everything. Along with this sister here, I said we can't go wrong. So we were able to, out of 16 properties, we were able to pull 10. And so we're going to change Charles County. It's going to be different.
Absolutely.
It's really going to be different.
Absolutely. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's great to hear. I guess we appreciate the fact that you all, had to hold off and pump the brakes on coming on the interview, like you said, to get a couple of W's under your belt. That's perfectly understandable. Have something to talk about, puff up your chest and be proud about, because you guys really have been making waves just based on what we've heard over here in BNY as far as like the wages and the shortage, and even dealing with certain children and a lot like cleaning the buses and stuff. It's been like a lot that you guys have been fighting for as far as getting some sort of sense of normalcy and consistency, and getting what it is that you all deserve. So I mean, we've heard about it. We've had certain people you all are aware of, Carlos Childs. He's the one that kind of brought you all's this plight to our attention, and that's why the main reason why we wanted to get you all out here, so we can get it out there for the county and the residents to kind of understand and see, and maybe garner a little bit more support for you all going forward. Hopefully, but we'll see. But so we really appreciate you all being here. I can't stress that enough. I know everyone on Facebook are going to start popping in and appreciate it and hear what you guys have to say. So before we dive into it, I'm going to take a few minutes to kind of clean things up, as Ricky likes to call it, and then we're going to jump right into it. So once again, Facebook, YouTube, y'all know who it is. Dev Ray, y'all know what's coming right now. What's coming is that YouTube special. I'm sorry, the YouTube special. I'm sorry about that. Getting a little ahead of myself. It's that Showtime Love, or the Showtime special, as I like to call it. And if you all don't know by now, if you're new to the show and you just kind of just tuning in, the Showtime Love is real simple, and I'm going to break it down for you. If you like the show, love the show, hate the show, watch the show, don't like the show, take the time out to like, share, subscribe, comment, and give us some feedback. Let us know what you all think about it. Even if you disagree with some of our viewpoints, if you disagree with the format, let us know. Don't be shy. Hop in them comments. No sound. No sound. Welcome. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe that's just something on that end, because everyone else. Yo, let me know in the comment section right now if you all can't hear what's going. Everyone, okay. I don't. Everyone's different. You never know. You might got to look at your format or what you're watching on, and it could be something wrong with the sound if it's not coming through on your end. Yeah. So everyone's has sound. Okay. Where was I? I kind of got interrupted by that. No, nothing wrong with that. Please let us know if there's anything going on or any issues. If we can fix them on our end. If it is something on our end, we'll definitely address it. But that may be Rondalyn Beatty. That may be. Oh, that's your family.
That's
Okay.
That's my partner in crime.
Your partner in crime. Hey. The better half, as they like to say.
Partner in crime.
Absolutely. So just double check and see whatever settings you have and what you're watching. It could be something on your end, something muted possibly, because as far as we know, everything is good. Back again. Showtime Love. Like the show, love the show, hate the show. Take the time out to like, share, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you all think about it. Believe it or not, me and Ricky, we go through these comments and we take them all to heart. We implement certain things as far as the show goes, and it really helps to drive not only what we're doing over here in BNY, because this show is not just for us, it's for you all, the community. So you all's input goes a very, very, very long way. With that being said, we're going to kind of keep moving. Since Rick's not here, I'm going to pick up at this point. A like, share, subscribe costs you what? Nothing. It costs you nothing to like the show or to share it with your family, friends, and whomever in your circle. So if it costs nothing, take that little bit of time out to help your boys over here in BNY out and help us to continue to grow. All right. Let's move on. So before we kind of dive right into it, I just kind of want to pick up on a few things that I heard during y'all's intro. California. What part of California?
San Francisco Bay Area.
San Francisco Bay Area. Okay. Me and Ricky are both retired military. Okay. And so, we're both, and I actually spent about 2.5 years in the what's that? Yuba area, Beale Air Force Base, Yuba County. It's like 35 minutes outside of Sacramento. Okay. It's just farmland and hills, and that's what it is. So but I spent quite a few weekends in San Francisco. Real nice. I like it out there. Bay Area is cool.
Yeah, California is a great place, and the San Francisco Bay Area is special,
as
you can tell by the Warriors.
Yeah. Them boys doing their thing, huh? Absolutely. Got a good squad over there. A lot to do in California. One of my bucket list items is the PCH, the Pacific Coast Highway. I want to drive that from top to bottom by about a week or so.
It really is a nice run.
Really?
Yeah, you really enjoy that.
I hear about it all the time, so that's one of my goals. So I'm definitely gonna take care of that one day.
So if you had a Porsche like he had on an old car, you could really appreciate it.
Oh, with the top down too? I ain't at that level just yet. Give me a couple more years and I can get a Porsche. Absolutely, but no.
The highway patrol still looking for him.
Look. He said he left them in the dust. He left them behind. Absolutely. Hey, Crystal, 24 going on 25 grandkids. I mean, what's the demographic? How many boys, girls? I mean, that's a blessing.
The girls outweigh the
Outnumber the. That's tough. That's what's up, man. That's awesome. Amazing once again. Amazing once again. And Mr. Beatty, again, appreciate you being here. I'm looking forward to your partner crime hopping in and, dishing a little bit of tea about you, and all the trouble. You tried to sell out Mr. Jerome over there, but you got you some trouble. I know you back in the day.
Well, back in the day, we kind of all went through that. I went through the antique car period. Fortunately, I had a wife that tolerated me.
Bring it up a little bit closer.
Yeah. Fortunately, I had a wife. I have a wife that tolerated me. Yes, I went through the antique cars and and all that. But it gets old after a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I guess you
old.
mature. Get a little bit older. Priorities kind of shift.
Yeah.
It's understandable. And I'm assuming that's what brought you to this point. Priorities shifted. You kind of let go of the antique cars, and you started doing things a little bit more, a little bit more serious and a lot more community involvement, especially when it comes to this establishing this union for the Southern Maryland bus drivers. So,
well, what I did was when I started with G&M Transportation as a bus operator. The ATU International had contacted me and wanted me to get involved, or at least the international vice president. His name is Anthony Garland. He had contacted me and asked me, hey, you want to get involved? And I said, hey, my health is bad. I spent 30 years doing this or better, and I just wanted to, just wanted to relax. And just drive a bus. But then when you run across the same issues that I ran across when I was with the authority, and we wanted to make some changes, and I was fortunate to run into Miss Washington and a group of members standing in the parking lot one day, about 150 members. All saying we want a union. And so the day in question, Edith Patterson happened to be there and be part of the march. Well, I don't think it was a march. It was just a group of operators and bus aides in this parking lot off Bryant Road. And I looked around. It was about 150 people, and they were all talking about the problems within the system. Well, I'd been in the system roughly 4 years here in Charles County as a bus driver, so I knew some of the problems, but I was a little reluctant to get involved. But once they pulled me in and I saw the problems, Mr. Ned and I came in together, and Crystal and Mr. Weatherby had already been through a defeat, and so we were able to pull everybody together and make this thing work. And so it's a historical moment. It's the first time in the history of Charles County that a school bus system has been organized. And so it is a historical moment.
Hey, round of applause right there for you. Round of applause. Absolutely, absolutely. How's everybody doing tonight?
Fine.
Fine. Yeah.
Thank you. Ran into a small problem. Had to take care of it. Everything's fine. Family's good. If you don't mind, Dev, how you doing?
Amazing, baby.
Good.
Amazing.
Crystal, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Good. Mr. Earl?
Yes.
Absolutely. And
Ned, another day in paradise.
Mr. Ned. All right, good. Hey, question, everybody. Just want to make sure as far as sound goes, if you can hear Mr. Earl when he speaks, if you mind just holding the mic a little bit closer to your mouth, too, as well. All right. Obviously, I'm just walking in here. I'll probably get background.
Oh, we're into it, bro.
All right.
Background good. Everything, intros.
Good.
Yes.
What's going on, Charles County? Appreciate y'all tuning in for tonight. All right, let's get to it. So we talked about this the first time ever Charles County where this got started. That's a very beautiful
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
What kind of opposition have you faced?
Well, racism.
Oh,
Right out the gate.
Right
Yeah.
out the gate.
let's expand on that. Let's talk on it.
Well, you have the good old boy network here, and you have 17 contractors that over the years have gotten have gotten wealthy, and I use Mr. Ned's term. What is it? Generation wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have contractors making $1 million a year or $1.5 million for running 12 to 14 routes, but yet and still you're paying your drivers $22,000 a year. There's
And that's full time.
that's
Yeah.
full time.
That's full time.
That's full time. That's
Talking
full-time.
22,000.
22, 23, and with the aides, it's even less. Anywhere from $15,000 to $17,000 on the average. And when you look at the poverty level for Charles County, it's about 25,000. When you look at the state, federal, when you look at the federal level, it's about almost 26. When you look at what the average person in Charles County makes is about $51,000 a year, and the state right at $80,000 a year, and the drivers only work about 180 hours, and the average one is 30 hours a week. So
30 hours a week you're working.
30 hours a week.
You're making way below the poverty line for Charles County.
Right.
Yeah.
You're already dealing with all these kids out here too as well on the bus. I mean, we know how it is growing up. It wasn't that long ago. I was on the school bus, all that nonsense too as well. First of all, thank you for that as well. Everything you do in the community. Remember, my bus drivers a lot growing up, so definitely a staple in my life too as well. The role models that they played in. Wow, that is ridiculous. And the fact is that your contractors were comfortable enough to give you, a dime of a dollar, while they're getting the fat off the pig.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's time for action. So yeah, let's get it.
We have
Quick
a
question. Go ahead.
lady.
I'm sorry. I'll ask you later.
We have a lady that we celebrated her tenure. Her name is Teresa Proctor. She's been driving for 50 years, a school bus.
Mm-hmm.
She's roughly at not even $23 now, because under their system, at 20 years, you max out. And so she's maxing out somewhere around $22.92 an hour. She's been driving for 50 years. So the way the pay scale has been set up, you can go from 0 to 20 years. It takes you 20 years to get to top pay.
Which is just under $23.
Just under
20 years to get to $23 an hour.
Well, this is the kicker.
Okay.
So at 20 years she was at top pay.
Mm-hmm.
So now she's driving another 30 years. And when I calculated, she's driven enough to go to the moon and halfway back. So and she's still driving. She's in her 80s. So these are some of the problems that the drivers face.
And I heard about the story. So when she turned 80, instead of Charles County, give her a nice little, some type of increase in pay, the only thing they gave her was a new bus number.
She actually asked for it.
Right,
She asked for it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool too
She
as well.
turned 80, so they gave her bus 80.
Yeah.
But we actually did something for her. We all came together, brought her family in, and the other drivers and attendants came in to celebrate her. And we gave her plaques. We had, county commissioner came in, and Reuben Collins. We had one of the senators came in, and
Arthur
Ellis.
Ellis.
So we had her presented properly
Mm-hmm.
for somebody who has been there that long as a driver. And we made a request of the contractors to give a gift, and only one contractor actually gave her a gift.
So I can
Oh.
give you a little background, a little history. Miss Proctor actually started working for the county over 50 years ago. And the county at that time suggested that she go to a contractor. Now, county does have a few drivers. One of the major issues here is that the county has a two-tier system. They pay their drivers who do the same routes, drive the same buses. They pay them twice as much as the contractors pay contractor drivers. So it's a two-tier system, and it was set up that way so that the county didn't have to take on the financial responsibility that would otherwise have fallen on the county had we all been county drivers. So
County employees.
Right.
county employees.
That comes with the health care plan and all that too as well.
Exactly. So what
Yeah.
they chose to do is they've taken several contractors, as Mr. Beatty has said, and really have offered them generational wealth where the grandfather had the business 50 years ago. And let's take, for example, Mrs. Proctor. They moved her to a contractor where she did not, at this point, be able to have any kind of real retirement. The retirement that is currently offered for bus drivers and attendants basically comes out to less than $1,000 a year. So you can work. So you could work for 50 years and not even have a $50,000 retirement. And unfortunately, what they do, the contractors control the retirement fund. So you don't necessarily even have to get $1,000 a month. And it's based on, well, as Mr. Beatty could explain to you, a savings account.
Right.
So
Nationwide.
this is just one of the examples of how the county has purposely chosen to allow the drivers and attendants to basically have poverty wages.
Let's read some of these questions too as well in the comment
Highway
section.
robbery. Is
Yeah,
what
for
this
real.
is.
Yeah, it
Al-
is.
Also, everybody out there, two things if you're watching right now. One, share the podcast and spread this information too as well. And also, anybody school board, tag their page in here so they can watch this. Anybody running, so we can help the bus driver union out, please.
Shauna Mayans, she's in the
Yeah, I
chat.
see Zach Ball in here too as well. Carlos, how you doing? Leftwich, what's going on? All right, Pascal Small, opposition. Those that are generating wealth by underpaying bus drivers and then going behind closed doors to negotiate with our people directly impacted are in the room. Let's keep going from here. So you don't have any health insurance through your contractor, or how does it work as far as health insurance?
Health insurance is done through the contractors, and it's various policies. It's no one policy, and it's to the point where a lot of them depend on county insurance versus the contractor's insurance. It's a driver that works with me where her hospitalization deductible is anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000. How do you go in the hospital? You know, you're ill to have surgery and you need to come up with $3,000 to $7,000. It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And I mean, a lot of them just went to county. And you have a lot of single mothers, so they can afford to go to the county because of their situation versus your driver that's married. He or she can't go get county with insurance because of their salaries, because you're a double salary household. Although that double salary household is not high, but the qualifications for the county is kind of ridiculous too.
Zach Ball has a question. Would you all prefer that the county take over the entire bus program?
Well, I'm like this. You know, I believe in a little history. And a lot of these contractors, some of them really try. You've got 2 or 3 of them out there that really got these decent plans, and they're really trying. What I like to see, that's a decision that the county has to make. I have never been against the contractors. I like to work with them, but can't work with them if some of them are receiving $1 million or $3 million a year, and the drivers and the attendants that we represent are below county what the people are making in the county, state. There has got to be some difference. And if you look around, the other jurisdictions. They all pull money from the American, was it American
The ESSER fund.
the ESSER fund,
Yeah,
and
ESSER.
the other one, the American Rescue Plan. This county got $42 million. If you look at Pittman, what Pittman did up in the Runner County, he pulled $4 or $5 million out of it. If you look at Calvert County, they did the same thing. You look at the other counties around, and they gave their folks a decent wage. Look, if you an apartment in Charles County, the average 2-bedroom apartment right now is $1,700 to $2,000. And if a person's taking home $2,200 a month, where does that leave them?
On the streets.
On the street, right? So that's one of the areas that we face. You know,
It's to the point where you
Yeah.
got drivers literally hiding their cars.
That's right.
Because they can't meet the car note, so it won't get repossessed because they have kids that they have to transport to and from school. You got some that have kids with needs, medical needs, and I mean it's hard. We've had a driver lose her place because she couldn't afford to live in it no more. Now what the county want to do is next year they want to meet Calvert County's wages, but my things that they got last year. Okay, you want to meet last year when this year everything has gone up. Gas prices have gone up.
Everything's
Food
increased
has
up.
gone up. Rent has gone up so much that if you watch Facebook, people have been complaining. It was one girl I saw said that her rent went from $1,300 to $1,800. Now, imagine a driver dealing with this. An attendant dealing with this that make less than
And
the
attendant,
drivers.
ain't no way. Not that what you were saying. The
I
attendant.
mean, you got a lot of people, you know, as an adult, you don't want to live at home. You don't want to live with your parents. You don't want to live with siblings. You don't want to live with friends. But they have no choice. Really, financially, they don't have a choice.
One of the things that we should probably make clear is that even though we are employees of contractors, the contractors basically sign a contract with the county, and the county really controls every aspect of the job, from hiring to training to discipline,
To our
setting
wages.
the standards. They define what our wages are in the contract that they give to the contractors. So some of the contractors, a number of the contractors have fought for years to try and get the amount increased that is supposedly compensation for drivers and attendants. But the county controls that. And so the county does not want to take any responsibility because they could filter everything through the contractors.
So it's essentially like, what's it? Not a straw man, but it's like a false
Like
front.
a shield?
Yeah, exactly. They're just using the contractors.
Absolutely. The contractors insulate the county. But in reality, the county is really a dual employer because they control every. Actually, the only thing the contractors do is they can recruit, but they can't actually tell you that you'll work for the county because the county certifies you. And when I say that, I'm talking about the transportation department. So whether or not you can work is based on the county.
Right.
And they don't fire you. The only way that you can't work is if the county decertifies you. Okay? So it's really a situation where the county has total control but no responsibility.
Now, the part of the county we're talking about is the school board, commissioner board.
Transportation.
Well, actually, I guess superintendent controls transportation.
Right.
The superintendent's office actually controls what happens with transportation, who gives all the details, certification, decertification, and so forth for the drivers and attendants.
Now, you met with this individual, didn't you?
With the superintendent?
Let me tell you, her meeting was literally her sitting there with a
talk on it.
tablet,
Oh,
jotting down whatever we saying. She never tried to offer us anything. She never really tried to talk to us. And then after 45 minutes, I have another meeting, and left.
and what's the name of this individual too as well?
Dr. Navarro.
That's
Dr.
right,
Navarro.
Navarro.
That was the second
Somebody tag
meeting.
Navarro in here too as well. Bring it in the comment section.
That was the second meeting. The first meeting, she called the meeting
Right.
and said she wanted to talk to the drivers and attendants, and so she called a number of people, contractors, and a number of us came in. And she came in and said she apologized. She gave us 5 minutes and said she had another meeting.
Oof.
Okay, then the second meeting is the one that Crystal just
Right.
referred to.
That's
and
right after
we
walked.
thought that meeting was going to be
Went
based
see.
on the suggestions that we made in her absence at the first meeting, that she would come with some response. She basically came and said, well, here, I'll take some notes. And then again, she didn't have anything really to offer or say, and
Right.
she left.
It was pretty much to pacify us.
What month was this?
In October.
Have y'all talked to her since?
No.
Has she reached out since?
No.
Come on
So
now.
she was well aware from the first meeting that she was only there for 5 minutes for. She was well aware of all the you all points that you all were bringing at that time. And then you all were expecting her at the second meeting to address the points that you made at the first that she wasn't there for, which she didn't do. And it's been since, how many months now? 7 months?
Yeah.
7 months? No.
Running.
More than that. Yeah.
October? Yeah.
Well, she reached out.
Okay.
Let me just say this. She reached out to, was it NAACP?
Yeah.
Yeah. She
Bring the
reached-
mic a little bit closer.
She
There
reached
you go.
out to President Sweat, who is the president
For the NAACP.
for the NAACP,
Charles County.
Charles County.
Okay.
And she wanted a copy of our proposal. We had been having meetings with the operators, so I say operators, but drivers and the aides, and we had some stuff that we had put together. Crystal background is with the police department. It's like finance.
My last couple of years,
Yes.
I was a payroll specialist.
Payroll
Okay.
special.
Okay.
So we were able to put this proposal together, and we got it to her, and I
Yes.
guess she just kind of, I
She
don't know
got
what
two proposals. She got one from us,
right,
and the Contractors Association also put one together.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And she pretty much
Well,
pushed
she-
both of them to the side.
Yeah, she said, well, looked at them, but you guys have gotten a 3% raise, and you've got a 4% raise coming up. So that's it. But all the other jurisdictions were getting decent
$5 raises.
$5 raise, $7
Okay,
raise.
3% raise on what I was getting was literally 58 cents.
Right.
Oh.
You talking about a 4% raise on less than $26,000 a year? Stop playing with me. What do you mean you getting
Well,
a 4% raise?
How much is Navarro's salary? Someone could throw that out there too as well. Just out of curiosity.
It's around $255,000.
Man,
To do what?
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, to do what she's doing. But let me say this: this system was set up with the 17 contractors, where organized labor would never come in here.
Right.
That's just the good old boy system. It was set up that way, and we beat it. We beat the system.
Round of applause.
Round of applause.
We beat the system for the first time. They took our tax-paying dollars, these contractors, because if they didn't have contracts with the school, they wouldn't be in business. But they took our contract, took our tax-paying dollars, and hired a union-busting law firm to derail our attempt and our constitutional right to organize a union and bring a union in here. And we stayed together, the five of us, through all the crap that they threw at us. And we didn't get down in the mud with them. Our thing was we held meetings 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Session.
They held meetings
Yeah.
at the rate. I'm the baby of the bunch.
Crystal said, "Call me after 7. Whatever y'all come up with."
Call me after 7. Minutes free. Minutes free.
Call me after 7. But we held court for 3, 4 months, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, planning and strategizing on how we were going to go about this, and it paid off. it paid off.
That was the difference.
Right.
Because I was here in 2014 when they tried.
Mm-hmm.
And it was no structure. Where this time it was structure. We made ourselves accessible to the body of drivers and attendants, and we actually brought them in on everything. We didn't hide anything from them.
Let me kind of bring you up to date.
Yes,
In
sir.
terms of what Mr. Beatty was saying about the issues regarding the superintendent and the transportation department, which is, again, under the superintendent. Right now, you have 10 contractors who have union employees, but they're being required to sign a contract with the county, which obviously does not give real compensation. Again, it maintains the poverty wages for the drivers and attendants. So they're being told basically if they don't sign the contract, they could go out of business. And they will keep the drivers certified, but they could go to non-union contractors. So that's the pressure that the superintendent and the transportation department is putting on the contractors who actually have union employees now. So there are several contractors who do not have union employees, and the county is basically saying, well, you know, they're your issue. We're not going to pay them anything more. And if you don't sign the contract that we prepared that continues to have them live at poverty wages, you can go out of business.
Oh, because then at that point the county has all the cards because they control the certifications. So hey, you don't want to sign this contract, that's fine. We'll decertify you, and you'll be out of whatever job.
Well, no,
They're not going to decertify the drivers.
Oh,
They're going to take the drivers and attendants and send us to all the
Contractors.
non-union contractors.
Okay.
Which is
Exactly.
what, six?
what?
Six
Exactly.
non-union. And those six couldn't house all the drivers and attendants that would be going. They couldn't do it.
well, we have unionized the majority of drivers and
Right.
attendants in Charles County.
How many lots?
10.
10
Out of how many?
out of 17. But
17,
out of the
okay.
300 plus drivers and attendants, we have 200 and almost 250 of them. So we have the majority who have now been unionized. But obviously, the union is the issue that the county does not want to address.
Yeah, even Carlos weighing in the county is union busting.
Yeah, that's absurd. I mean, there's a couple of people like let me see.
Let me scroll up.
Yeah. So Derek Terry brought up. I think it was Derek Terry or Michael. No, your dad actually.
Nah, that's
Sit-
not. That's
no.
not Pops.
That's not Pops.
Nah, that's another. That's I don't know. Let me see. Rick Williams.
Okay, no,
That's
I
not
can't
him.
see the picture, so I thought it was. But Rick Williams said that maybe we should have the contractors on to be able to defend themselves. But our boy Michael Leftwich said, "How do you defend paying drivers less than $23K? I mean, there's
not.
no defense of that. Honestly.
Well,
They actually been trying.
But you said
for the
they have.
I have paperwork where they've been trying for 11 plus years to convince the county to give more money, and they haven't done it. Even when we went out sick, they were forewarned that this was going to happen if the wages didn't come up, and they pretty much whatever.
The county sounds like a Gotham villain right now. I'm
Well,
not even
what,
gonna
what
lie.
they're
Like,
dealing with right now is the fact that
Joker.
rather than a bus driver having to drive one route, bus drivers are now having to drive 2 and 3 routes every day. Kids are coming into school late because bus drivers and attendants are just realizing they can't sustain their life as a Charles County bus driver or attendant.
jumping
And so
ship.
we're losing bus drivers and attendants every day. So right now, if you're on the radio in the morning, you'll hear one driver say, well, I'll drop these off and I'll see if I can go pick up the other kids that have been waiting now a half hour, an hour after school starts because there's no bus to actually pick them up. So that's kind of what's happening right now in Charles County.
So they got y'all working more routes for the
Absolutely.
same pay.
And again, the bus drivers aren't getting
Well,
the bus
you get an hour for each additional route, just 1 hour.
I want to get into this in a second. Go ahead, Dev. I got another point to
Okay,
bring up.
to address that, so you get an hour extra pay for each additional route, right? Okay, you're telling me that kids are getting to school late as a result of this shortage, and not everyone's just
Some
glossing.
of them are getting to school by parents because the buses are being completely put down because they have no one to drive them.
Kids, as a result of what's going on, are being forced to get to school that late. Sometimes an hour after school has already started.
And see, this
That's-
this is the other part that I have a problem with. Charles County now is a 50% minority. The school system is here in Charles County is 70% minority. So these kids are suffering even on that end. And I just want to change gears 1 second and get this in.
Please.
My kicker has always been the retirement, because I was fortunate. Someone set a system up at Metro that I could retire and have a decent retirement, and actually the three of us. So when I looked at this retirement
It's ridiculous.
this retirement package that's offered to the drivers, the county puts in roughly $500 a year. $500 a year from the county into a person's retirement plan. Now, so the latest, they said, well, we'll move it up to 1,000. So they gave the county set it up so that they would only contribute $500 a year to a system that's through Nationwide. And it's through Nationwide, and it's through a bus driver who has a broker's license, and he is related to one of the Comptons. It's almost a conflict of interest, and it is a conflict of interest as far as I'm concerned. And the county bears a lot of responsibility here, because you contributing $500 a year towards somebody's retirement, and yet and still you're paying all this money out for these for these contractors. I had a young lady that 60 years old and 37 years of service went last month and pulled her money out because she was 60 years old, and she wound up with like $17,000 for 37 years. Now, Nationwide, I don't have anything against Nationwide, but when you look at the fees that you pay on the backside, the drivers and aides attendants are not getting anything. When you have 30-some years and you only have $23,000 some odd dollars in this plan, and the way it's set up, the county should be ashamed. The people that are investing the money should be ashamed, because the way it's set up, there's 3 bus drivers that control the whole plan. 3 contractors. That's right. 3 contractors. Well, most of them are bus drivers, but anyway, he's right. 3 contractors who are the actuary, they are the CEO, and everything. They control it. Here's a plan that you cannot get your money out. You cannot get your money out unless you're 60 years old, 59 and a half. The other thing is that it's uninsured. It's not state insured. It's not county insured. So why should I risk putting my money in a plan of Nationwide for these 3 contractors to invest it? They tell me they got some lawyer out of New York that helps them, but I don't have any say about my money.
Your investment
And
how
my
they're
investment.
applying it.
Now, last year they came up with for 457, and I guess that was for people like me that want to put their money into a 457 to reduce their taxable income. Well, I wouldn't put a dime into it for to invest was something that I couldn't control. It's ludicrous. So this is one of the problems, and the pet peeve has always been for me is retirement.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I mean, as it should. I mean, based on what you're detailing right now, that's a lot. As far as that goes, that creates a huge conundrum. You know, so as far as people spending and investing so much time in the county driving, and then just getting so little on the back end. I mean,
Well, one of the problems that's created because of that is the fact that you have drivers who are forced to drive for 25, 30, 40, 45, 50 years because there really isn't any retirement. And most drivers who do leave because they are no longer able to pass the medical to continue to drive. They are so dependent on the little money that they do receive, knowing that they're not going to get a real retirement, that basically their health reasons is the only way that they're able to leave the job, because they really don't have anything that they've been able to gain as far as their retirement.
right. And so they're put in this predicament as well, like you said, where they're having to work up until the point where they can no longer work. I mean, how often do you come across that? Like, as far as people, your associates, I mean, that you've come across where they could no longer work due to health issues, or is that like a common occurrence?
well, I don't know whether it's so much a common occurrence. What happens, you have a good percentage of folks that drive until they can't drive, but also you have folks that just in the system long enough to get something better, and so you have a lot of turnover until the wages get up and the benefits get up, and the drivers and the attendants get the respect that they deserve. It's going to be a continue a turnover, and so we hope by organizing by ATU Local 689, Amalgamated Transit Union Local 689, by bringing them in and organize to bring that up. The average person right now working for this system cannot afford an FHA home, can't afford a conventional loan, and very few cases can they afford a USDA loan. They don't qualify. So, and that's a full-time position. That's got to change. Gas prices in the last 15 months have doubled. That takes a lot away from a person's income. I had a young lady who told me, she said, Mr. Beatty, she said, I would love to support you. But she said, I can't, because if I do, I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose my some kind of medical card. And she said, because if you guys get me a decent raise, I lose all that. And I told her, I said, well, we're going to have to fight for you and everybody else. This is about bringing you out of poverty, not keeping you in. And she said, okay, I don't know whether she supported us or not, but our goal is to the 250 or 70 people that we represent in the 10 lots is to, in the next year or couple years, bring them up very close to that $50,000 a year that it costs a person to live in Charles County. And as Mr. Ned mentioned earlier about the county has 12 routes, 12 or 13 routes. Those drivers are organized. They're organized. They come under ASPE.
They're in a union.
Yeah, they're in the union. Yeah. So we are now asking basically the same thing that they get. They get the holidays. They get the. We don't get the holidays. There's 12 or 14 holidays.
We don't get snow days.
We don't get snow days. We don't get the teacher
In service.
In
As
service.
far as you don't get paid for these days.
We don't get paid for those days.
If
Where-
school is closed, we don't get paid.
Right. So
Mm.
so they get it. We don't. And as Mr. Ned mentioned earlier, the two-tier system, that is the two-tier system.
To amplify what Mr. Beatty was just expressing, you have drivers who work for the county that go to all the schools and deliver paper, deliver the other supplies that the school needs. Those drivers, even though they aren't drivers who actually drive school buses, they get the things that Mr. Beatty just expressed. They get a lifetime retirement. They get holiday pay. They get the compensation that a worker should receive. And you have contracted bus drivers and attendants who drive with probably the most responsibility or in terms of having the children on the bus, not to mention the liability they have driving a large vehicle on the roads, the responsibility while the kids are in the back. And you know the difficulty that you may have experienced being a kid in the back of the bus. And
Wow.
none of those things are available to contracted drivers and attendants.
One quick question too, because we heard before a lot of the bus drivers were having to foot the bill as far as cleaning supplies to clean their buses, correct? Especially during the midst. I mean, we heard like there were like certain programs where they're reimbursed, but a lot of the
We didn't get reimbursed, but at one point, when we first came back for COVID, they supplied everything. Then it just stopped. But for our protection, we all put our
Kept-
own stuff in to maintain the buses and our health and the kids' health.
right.
She mentioned COVID. One of the things that really created a problem is the fact that they had a number of different programs to notify teachers and
Right.
administrators and other students when a child or someone at the school exhibited COVID symptoms. But bus drivers were never notified. The only way bus drivers found out that a student or students on their bus had COVID is if other kids told them or the parent. And we've asked numerous times, and they've come out with a number of different programs to notify everybody but the bus drivers.
Let's get to some questions here too as well. And then have we covered the day in the life of a bus driver yet?
No.
Okay. All right. We won't get to that in here in a second. Let's read some of these comments. So Leftwich, who pays for your certifications? I don't know if we mentioned that one earlier or not. Okay.
The county.
The county. Okay. All right.
They're actually responsible for our certification. They took that responsibility.
Okay. Pascal, what's going on, Pascal? What is the current stage of your fight, and how can family support you?
Well, the current stage right now, we just finished roughly about a week and a half of work, this committee, and submitted our final proposal Sunday to the international lawyers to present to the county, the school board, etc. And we worked very hard to put it together, put the language in, and to get the figures put in to present a wage package that we believe that will be that will help bring this
Bring everybody
bring everybody
salary-wise up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just along the lines of what he just expressed, the county recognizes the value of school bus drivers and attendants. As a matter of fact, in order to get drivers to drive during the summer, they're actually
yes.
offering $31 an hour for drivers during the summer. yet they want to put in the contract that they're giving to, or in the proposal that they're giving to the contractors, in the low 20s again, which is what they expect the drivers to accept at the beginning of the next school year. So they recognize that it's much more is required to maintain drivers, which is why they're offering $31 an hour during the summer. One thing that they've done is they basically tell you, I guess Mrs. Navarro put out a sheet that went to parents that basically expressed what we were receiving, but she added what the contractors are supposed to, or what any employer would actually have in terms of the responsibility of their payment towards an employee. For instance, if your hourly wage is $30, well, obviously there's some responsibility that the employer is going to have for employee fees. Well, what she did was she added those fees onto what we're paid as though we were actually making all that money, and that's not the reality. So
It's
And
considered a fixed charge, and they add it to our salaries. Then they deduct it, and when they deduct it, what's left is what we get. That fixed charge goes to the contractor for federal and state unemployment, workman comp, Social Security, and payroll.
So they're actually, the contractors are paid. The one thing that the contractors do in addition to recruiting is they actually pass out the checks. And so they have the responsibility of taking the money that they receive from the county and actually dispersing that to the drivers in attendance. And so they're paid by the county to do that. So the portion that an employer would normally have, which would be, as you just expressed, the fees and so forth, above what your hourly wage would be, the superintendent gave to the parents a sheet that included that as part of what we actually received, when in fact we received far less.
Yeah.
So
She made it seem like they were paying us more an hour without explaining it. That's what she did. And
Very misleading.
we got a lot of flack from parents where you all are getting X amount of dollars. No, we're not. We're not getting that money. I actually got into a big debate with a parent on Facebook till I finally put it up there and explained it to her. Then she understood. Because it is a 24.94% that they take off our salaries. And I'm trying to figure, you talking about Social Security. You're taking Social Security out my paycheck. So why are you taking Social Security out before you even pay me?
So basically, just to put in layman terms, if I'm saying this correctly, the superintendent framed y'all as greedy, essentially, and
Pretty
blamed
much.
you for why y'all just wanted more money,
Yes.
and that's why parents had to drive their kids to school.
Mm-hmm.
Superintendent pretty much said it was their fault. Bus drivers, attendants.
She
Yeah.
put the blame back on us.
You said Gotham, right, earlier?
I said she's a villain.
Someone bring DeVar on this chat, please. Go ahead, tag her in out. What time is it right now?
The Riddler.
10 o'clock. Bring her in here. I got questions. She can call in if she wants to, too, as well. I'm curious.
Well, it was an excellent spin job on her on their behalf because they were taking such a pounding from our newsletters and other things that we were communicating with the drivers and the attendants. But this has never been done before. They've never seen anything like this before because they keep all these contractors, keep their people under control. And so we were able to plug into that. And so what she did was was a good spin job. But when you count the fact that person is working not 40 hours a week, 30 hours a week, and when you take away the person is only working 180 days a year, you lose Christmas, you lose all the holidays, and you lose
A week for Christmas, a week for Easter.
spring break,
Right.
and then the unemployment situation with the when you're out of school is half of people get the money, the other half don't, and so that's a problem.
What do you all say to your detractors? Like, well, okay, let's say it's 24,000 a year. What do you say to your detractors? Say, well, you're only working 180 days. How do you respond to that? Have you all ever encountered someone criticizing the fact that you all don't work year round? Or
Well, there are a number of counties in Maryland who have school bus drivers, and we are almost at the bottom in terms of compensation.
Yeah.
And they work the same hours. They do the same thing. So Charles County, even though it's a county that has one of the highest tax bases, we still are at the bottom in terms of the compensation. But there's not all the blame on the superintendent. A number of contractors don't pay properly. In other
Right.
words, even though they're supposed to give X number of dollars, some contractors don't pay the same fees as others. Some contractors don't offer the steps that others offer. Some people have been working for 12, 15, 20, 25 years and had no increase, even though they're supposed to have, I don't know, a 20 cents or a 30 cents
every
increase.
4 years.
So you have contractors who are denying people the money that even the county provides. So it's really a situation where we really need the opportunity, number one, to standardize so that all the contractors or all the employees are paid fairly as they should be. So again, there are a number of different issues.
Yeah, and he's thinking about pay. COVID, everybody was allowed to do PPP loans to
Right.
help with salary. Now, you had some contractors, well, pretty much most of the contractors applied.
right.
And a lot of contractors one contractor got $2.4 million. And we just happened to talk to their people. They got none of that PPP loan. You had some contractors that actually, whatever your time and mileage was, time and mileage is a sheet that we do where when you run your route, you jot down the time, the mileage, the number of kids, your break time, the layover time, and whatever that time estimates out to be, that's what you get paid for that day. It can be 6 hours, 6.5, 7, 8, whatever it is, that's what you get paid. The county agreed to pay out the contract 6 hours only. So some of the contractors use their PPP loans to literally make up that difference of what your time and mileage was. But you had some that their people never saw that money.
Yeah, so they're all over the map, and I blame the county in a sense, because if you're a contractor and I'm giving you X number of dollars, but yet and still I control it, and I don't require you to produce records or audit or whatever. A lot of them don't even have a bookkeeping system. They've been running these businesses out of their backyard in shoe boxes for so long, and so they don't have a system. But we're taxpayers in this county, and we have to start holding the politicians as well as the county folks, commissioners, and also the board accountable for this money that you're giving these contractors. They don't have audits. They don't have anything.
That's my next question.
Right. So it's
The
kind of
county is audited, but the contractors
but the
are
contractors are what that's what I'm referring to. They're not, and that's sad. That's why. So the county bears a lot of responsibility for this. And let me say this: all Charles County workers are organized. Or good 80% of them are organized, except the county bus drivers that are with the contractors until we got involved. There was a bill that cleared the House, Bill 447. Edith Patterson, and I forget who the other gentleman was, got the bill through. The governor didn't sign it, but they had enough signatures and they had enough power to override the bill. The bill became law. So 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm doing my thing, and I find the bill, so I read the bill, and I'm wondering why were the school bus drivers and attendants and aides left off. So I called her, and she said, "Mr. Beatty, I'll be honest with you. It's one of the hardest bills that I've ever gotten through." She said that the teachers, not the teachers, the police and the firefighters and others didn't want anybody else on the bill. So again, we get left off. Now we're going to be strong enough this time to sit at the table instead of the contractors and the board telling us what we're going to get. We're going to negotiate for our members what we're going to get. Yeah. That's for sure.
Let's get to some of these comments too as well. So Pascal has a question. Are any of the commissioners connected to the bus contractors? Do you know anything of that? Any kind of dealings they may have had?
I mean, not that we know of.
Yeah, I don't want to
right, we're not going
elaborate on that.
Fair.
Yeah.
Oh, second microphone.
I'm not sure, but if a contractor's got 14 routes and getting $1.5 million a year to run 14 county routes, that's a lot of money. You can contribute to campaigns, and who knows? That's been the system here. So, and as I stated earlier, thank God we were able to beat the system. And those 6 contractors that got away, one was tied and the other one we lost by 2. 1 year from now, trust me, we'll be back to get you.
Oh, come on now.
Hey, call it.
Hey, here it is.
I know Mr. Beatty keeps mentioning a million or so, but some of these contractors are actually making as much as $3.5 million a year. We have contractors who are averaging we have a number of contractors over $2 million a year. So it's not a situation where they don't have a lot of influence in the county. Again, this has been going on for over 50 years.
Right.
So a number of these contractors are chairmen or on boards on boards for various banks. They have very deep ties in the county. And so that was one of the major reasons that they didn't feel we'd be able to unionize, because of the good old boy system that's been set up for several decades. And again, this is a situation where it's been generational. These have started with the grandfather, son, and now the grandson, their wives. Some of these companies have relatives. They've split the company into 4 or 5 pieces. Yeah. 2 brothers have a section. An ex-wife has a section. So,
That's 5. It's 5.
That owns some of these contracts.
Some of these contractors.
Right. And reflect on Mr. Ned's sheet here. You have the biggest contractor that we organized was actually broken into 3 separate companies. And the sad thing about it, they don't communicate. But that company alone, over the last 3 years, when we pulled the records, got $28 million.
Ain't no way.
Over, and they have very few drivers over there that's making over $23,000 a year. And that's what we're faced with. So we plan to make a change and be part of this community, and not only be part of this community politically. We plan to walk the halls of Annapolis, Congress. I'm used to that. I did it. So I know how it works. So look out for us, because we coming.
Would you plan on striking again?
Well, this is how I feel about it. Strike is the last tool in the toolbox.
Okay.
I have never been 100% for strikes, because everybody loses, but you
let me
have
say
to.
one thing: we haven't had a strike.
That's right.
We did it sick out.
Sick out. That's right.
Okay.
We did not strike.
Right. So
Okay.
There's levels to this.
right,
to it.
and some of the language that we put in the contract that we sent to the lawyers, we asked for mediation, arbitration, and the last thing, if those two do not work, then we reserve the right to exercise our rights to strike. But we're not even there yet. Not even close to being there. We want to. There's enough money and wealth, as Mr. Ned said, coming into this county to now to make sure that every driver and every attendant has a livable wage and can be able to afford an apartment, be able to go out and buy a home, be able to go out and purchase a car, and don't have to hide the car from the snatch man. We had a young lady that came to one of our meetings, and she wrote a long, long letter. She was hiding a car. She didn't know where she was going to get our rent money from, and we took up a collection.
Do Christmas for her kids.
The bus drivers took up a collection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. At one of our meetings, we had probably about 8 to 10 meetings. We started this thing. I think Mr. Ned and I came in late. We came in October. Yeah. We came in. They had already been doing their thing. We came in late October, going into November, and we had approximately 200 votes. 200 signature cards out of roughly 312 within 3 weeks, in order to file a petition with the National Labor Relations Board to have recognize us as the bargaining unit for the county. What delayed us so was COVID, because the office in Baltimore where we had to file the paperwork, they had 1 to 2 people working, so it delayed us. We just got through May 5th with the last election, and so we should have been somewhere around January. This whole thing wrapped up. So it's been a long process, but
and COVID also made it possible for the contractors, not only with their union bus and attorney with them, but to put their heads together and create this phenomenal propaganda that they had nothing to back it up. And anything we put out, we showed you where to go find it. You didn't have to just read it from us. Go online and look at it for yourself. And, the biggest thing we push is know your rights, because you had a lot of drivers and attendants that did not know their rights. And you have to know your rights in order to function. You have to know your rights in order to be able to stand up to, your contractor, because a contractor can have you doing any and everything because they know what you don't know. And that's really how some of the lots we didn't get, because they listened to these contractors. They listened to the lies, the manipulation. It was just sad.
So, yeah, 100%. Yeah, you got to know exactly what you're fighting up against. What is the end goal for the union and the movement? What's the best case scenario that you see that you want yourselves to get in? And that's not a cap right there, just an idea.
To organize every one of these properties in Charles County, to make sure that every person that comes aboard has a decent retirement plan, has a decent living wage, and to get involved politically. We have to be at the table. And the only way that we're going to be at the table is what we've done so far. But we have to take it another step. This is just the beginning of what we need to do. And so when you can get the attention of the politicians and some of the others to understand our plight and to accept us at the table rather than somebody else negotiating something for us and giving us the crumbs. We'll be there.
One of the things I want to emphasize is that amalgamated local number 689 basically represents professional drivers throughout the DMV. And they strongly feel that the responsibility, whether you're in Virginia, whether you're in D.C., or whether you're in Charles County, is pretty much the same if you're a professional driver. And there's no reason why a driver in D.C. or another county is making 2 or 3 times what Charles County drivers are making when they're all doing the same thing. And that's one of the primary things the union is after, is that we all deserve a fair, livable wage, particularly if we're doing exactly the same job.
Absolutely.
There it is.
And especially if you're in one of the counties that have the funds and the cost of living that requires it.
And to piggyback off what Mr. Ned said, this is the first time that Amalgamated Transit Union Local 689, and I've been involved with them for over 30 years. This is the first time in this area that we have organized school buses. And so this is a new area for us. But, you know, throughout the country in Canada, ATU International and throughout the country represents school bus drivers. So we believe that Charles County is just the beginning, because there's so many school bus drivers and the attendants need help, you know, throughout this region. If you compare PG, if you even Arlington and Alexandria, decent salaries. Annapolis, the contractors down there, they voted the union in. They're getting a decent wage. It seems like Charles County is pretty much now at the bottom. I remember receiving something from Mr. Ned or Crystal when I first got involved. We were third from the bottom then. And if you look at what Calvert County has gotten, St. Mary's has gotten, we have to be at the bottom. So our goal is to further this movement. We have had success not only through Local 689. You have the young social democrat,
Socialist,
Democrats to join us. Carlos Group has been supportive. Edith Patterson has been supportive. Reuben Collins has been supportive. Arthur Ellis has been supportive. Michael Jack.
don't forget, we got some parents.
And Michael Jackson has been supported. I'm still trying to find out where his COBRA bill is. I know it withdrew it last. I think it's Bill 42 or 43, somewhere in there. But we've had support. We've had support. So.
Right.
We spoke to the Democratic candidate for governor as well.
Oh yes, Perez. We have
Tom Perez, yeah.
Tom Perez is running. We're trying to get him one of his people to our annual picnic that's coming up for the first time. I'm gonna let Crystal or Mr. Ned share.
What day is that?
16.
Yeah.
Who cooking on the grill? Mr. Earl, you on the grill that day?
I'm more of an organizer behind the scenes.
You would eat it at the cookout. I get it.
I'm not a grill guy. Even though I spent some years and I got some investments there. I like to cash it in.
Hey, leave out 2, 3, 5, 10 plates. I get it.
Yeah. But Mr. Ned can actually because he's the mastermind behind he and Crystal, Miss Washington, and Mr. Weatherby are more of the masterminds behind this. For 12 years, I gave my members at my house a cookout, and it went anywhere from 300 to 700 people. So when I retired in 2015, my wife said, "That's it." But when I mentioned this, she said, "Why aren't you having it here at the house?"
Look, look, look.
I said 300 to 700 people.
That is-
It's a block party.
Yes,
12
sir. Exactly.
For 12 years. For
Sheesh.
12 years. That's what I gave my members. Yep.
You treat your members good. Oh, and people asking, can we come to the cookout?
Look, how much for a rib?
2 to 3 years after I retired, they were still calling me, "Are you having it? Are you having it? Are you having it?" But Mr. Ned, Crystal,
Because this is actually going to be something new and something different from the drivers. Because usually the drivers do individual end of the school year events. But this is the first time, and I've been driving since 2013, that I've ever seen all the drivers come together from all the contractors. And we're not leaving anybody out. Even the ones that did not go union, we want them there because we're all bus drivers and attendants at the end of the day.
There you go.
Exactly.
You can tell them about the picnic, where it is.
You want the details?
Go ahead.
You want
got
the
it.
details?
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, go
Location,
yourself.
Okay.
date,
Yourself.
location, time. You know, do I need to bring some plates? You know, who bringing the forks? I mean,
Okay,
we
it's
need to
gonna be
know.
at
Bring the
Gilbert Run
foil.
Park, and that's going to be on June 16th from 12 to 6. And again, all bus drivers and attendants, didn't matter whether or not you were union or non-union, are welcome,
Once you're there.
as well as their families. And I guess you guys are related in some ways. So, yeah, we're going to have a wonderful time. There's going to be a number of different events that take place, and again, the only cost related is getting into the park.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Look at the comment section. Got Dottery, Butler, Washington, bring the macaroni and cheese. Okay.
Uh-huh. Look at the Mac. Absolutely.
Yeah. Tamales. Okay, Pascal. I see Zach bringing the cooler. Hey, I bring one. I match you. Nah, I like it. No, this is good. This is good. That way people come out. And it's open to everybody, like you said, so they can come out as long as they get into the park and yeah,
And we've
support
added
the movement.
added the politicians. We're bringing it in
Right.
because you have a lot of folks running. For example, school board. School board, when this is over, there will be 5 new school board members.
Mhm.
We want them to understand that we're at the table now. We're players. So
Are you
help us.
endorsing candidates?
Well, we're gonna what we're gonna do is hear from the candidates. We do have one candidate we can endorse here tonight.
Oh, let's do it. Come on now.
And
Hey.
I'm gonna let Mr. Ned enter. Yes, sir.
Need like a breaking news banner.
Dion Tross.
Deron?
Oh, Deron Tross.
Deron Tross.
Okay.
He's been with us from the beginning. He was actually there when we all gathered at the Safeway parking lot there in Bryan's Road.
Mhm.
He's been very instrumental and very supportive, and he's somebody who's interested in the average person having a livable wage. And so he's taken on the responsibility of helping us in any in every way that he could. So we definitely want to recommend him as somebody for the school,
And that's
school board.
that's District 3.
3. Yeah.
Deron Charles had a conversation with him earlier today too as well.
More to
Yeah,
come on
he's
that.
Some things
He's-
working in the future on BNY. Keep going.
He's a good guy, and like Mr. Ned say, he has been there for us, helped us get information that we couldn't get on these contractors and what they are receiving from the county. He did his homework, helped us, and showed us how to go about it, and so a lot of players to come through to help us move this movement forward. We had our spiritual leader is Miss Washington. She's not here, but we needed that because from time to time, it's just like anything else. Things get heated, but we still all remain professional in what we've been doing, and that's why we've been able to move this unit or move this movement further. And we do plan to keep going.
Okay.
And as long as you guys give us support, and I know we dodged you guys for a long time.
We didn't dodge you.
I
It's that we were so tied down trying to get this pushed through, answering questions. As much as I don't care that much for a cell phone, literally when I get in the house, I couldn't tell you where my cell phone is half the time. But going through this process, I've always had my cell phone with me because we had to make ourselves accessible for questions because, contractors were hitting their drivers and attendants left and right with propaganda. And I was getting pictures, texts of all the propaganda that was coming out to respond to that propaganda. And I would get them sites to go to. I would send them to the National Labor Relations site. And I told them, if I don't know it, give me an hour. I will find out. And that's what I did. My husband's favorite thing is, if you don't know it, Google it. So Google became my best friend.
And I'll tell you, when we first got started, we filed the petition against the county,
Right.
and come to find out, when we filed it with the National Labor Relations Board, which they told us we could, then they told us, no, you can't file it against the county. And
He actually came to my house.
I came to her,
and,
I was almost
right.
in tears.
And I had to tell him,
she
the thing
picked me up.
is, if you hit a roadblock, you stop, you look left, you look right, and you decide which way you're going to go and keep it moving.
Right.
You just don't let it stop you. And then, like I told them, they told us we couldn't file against the school board, and his head just dropped.
Yeah, I was.
And
I was
within 24 hours, we found out we had to refile, but we had to do every single contractor.
Right. And
And- And we took off from there.
what happened was, she gave me the confidence to go home, and I called the International because I knew in 2014 there was an election, and the young lady I spoke with was the International president. Well, she and I had worked years ago in organizing property, and so she went in her files and gave me all the information of when the 2014 when they were unsuccessful. And so I was able to turn around and call the National Labor Board back and say, oh, no, y'all not getting away from this. I called everybody I could call. And then they finally came around. They said, okay, we'll allow you as much time as you want. But you got to file it against the
Individual contractor.
individual contractor. And I said to myself, well, and I guess when I came back and told everybody what we had to do, they said, some said, not the core group, but some said, how in the world, if we couldn't organize two properties in 14, how are we going to organize 17? I said, well, we're going to put the net out and I hope we get everybody. That's, we're not going to get everybody, but we want to get our share. And so those are some of the ups and downs that we had that we were able to overcome and get this thing going in the right direction.
Hey, let's see it.
Yeah.
Couple questions here too as well. Leftwich, I have not forgot about you, my guy. Just to be clear, I know we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier too as well. So, do you want to be county employees, or you just want a better contract?
We want a better contract.
Okay, all right. So we got that nice and clear.
We're not to cut you off. We're
you're
not
fine.
in this to hurt the contractors. That's not what we're in this for. We're in this to better the benefits, far as health insurance, life insurance, retirement, and then wages for the drivers and attendants. That's what we're in this for. I mean, the contractors will tell you in a minute, well, I'm going to lose my business. I'm going to have to sell my business. I'm going to go out of business. No, you're not. If you work with us to get what we need, guess what? When we get what we need, so do you.
We need to start pussyfooting around and make it happen. I mean, it doesn't sound like it's a very difficult process. If you all have your, I don't want to say talking points, but you all have the issues that you're bringing to the table. And as everyone's been saying, it's not that difficult. It's not like you're asking for the moon.
No.
And if we just meet you all halfway, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot that you all can accomplish working together versus all this back and forth, it would seem at times like.
Right. Instead of using their attorney to fight us,
right.
Exactly.
use your attorney to fight with us, with the county, with the board, with the superintendent.
So in the past, the difficulty has been that the county has basically dictated to the contractors what they would accept in the contract. In a lot of instances, without any option. In other words, if they wanted to keep their business, they had to take the contract that the county offered. And when they did have negotiations, when they did sit down, have their attorney sit with the county's attorney, there never was any representation from the drivers and attendants. We were never at the table. And so the explanation that was given year after year is, well, the contractor would say, well, we tried or we asked for, but the county just wouldn't offer it. Well, we said, well, let us come sit at the table as well so that we can express our needs.
No.
We weren't able to do that. That was the primary purpose for unionizing.
Right.
Now we have a seat at the table. Okay, and it's not as though we're trying to get rid of the contractors. There's enough so that everyone can still have a livable wage.
Right.
And that's really all that we're after.
That's it.
That's not too
work,
much to ask.
You work an everyday job. You know what I mean? I just want to be able to eat. For my wherever I'm living at, food on the table.
Little bills here and there. Put a little something to the side. I mean,
Dignity. It gives you a purpose. It makes you. It's dignity. It gives you a purpose. It makes you feel good when you can pay your bills, take care of your family, and be able to put a few dollars aside and have a retirement. That's what everybody works. That's what America is all about. But it seems like we're left out. I listened to a speech, Malcolm X, 1962, and the same issues that he spoke of back then are the same issues today. The same issues. And Frederick Douglass, and you go Martin Luther King, if you listen to some of his speeches, I Have a Dream, the same issues. When he led the strike down in Memphis, Tennessee, the garbage workers, the same thing, health benefits, wages, the same mentality. Nothing has changed. So what has to happen? We have to get involved and get out here and make things change. And that's the old saying, the squeaking wheel is the one that gets the oil. There's a lot of truth to that.
hey,
So if you ain't making no noise, you ain't going to get no oil.
Hey, like Pascal said here, power is not given, it's taken. So, hey, got to fight for what you believe in, please.
Yeah, people just don't understand the impact that unions have had. I mean, like having weekends, having 8-hour days, Social Security, health care. I mean, I could go on. The list is probably well over 50 things that people now take for granted. Even having just a lunch break, a rest break. Those are all things that unions brought about. And so people don't understand how important unionizing is. I could go into a little more history about how unions actually started to decline because of the air traffic controllers and Mr. Reagan, and how they were able to break the union. And at that point, it showed the industry that, hey, you can break unions. And basically people since the 70s have about the same income because of the decline of unions as opposed to what an average union worker was receiving in the 70s. And in the 70s, an average union worker had a regular home, a vacation home, 2 cars, and only one person in the household worked because they were at the table. Now, you have an executive who gets what, 10, 20, 30,000 times what a regular worker receives,
Bonuses.
plus bonuses, and they own a percentage of the company, and the workers who are non-union members, most get a very small fraction. Again, almost the same income that they were receiving back in the 70s. So that's how important unions are.
And you mentioned bonus.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the things that she said.
She hasn't who?
Navarro.
Oh, God.
I gave them a bonus. She didn't give us anything. She made it seem like the $1,000 that was given just to the drivers and attendant. Every county employee that works under the educational system got that $1,000. And it wasn't because of the drivers and attendant. This was because her audit produced a surplus of money. And I know, dealing with budgets, she had to spend that surplus before she can go into her actual budget for that year. So what did she do? She did the same thing that Kim Hill did. When she had a surplus, she gave everybody a bonus. That's what she did. So no, she didn't give us anything. She haven't met not one thing that we asked her for.
And she still won't meet with you or return a phone
We have
call.
not talked to this lady since what, October?
Since
October.
Since October.
And we actually request to sit at the table, and it was no. I'm not meeting with them, and she just met with the contractors only.
All right. We're about an hour 44, and we're going to wrap this up here soon. But something I want to do first before we do get out of here. If you could, please, what is the day in the life of a bus driver? What does it look like from sun up to, from start to finish?
I'm going to give you my day.
Yes, ma'am.
I am a full-time sub. My day starts at 6 because that's when the first driver come in.
Mm-hmm.
And any given day, I can bounce to 3 different buses because that's my job as a sub. I can come in the morning and at 6, and my contractor might come to me, hey, I need you to drive this bus that doesn't start to 6:46. But I've been at work since 6.
Mm-hmm. Then
I might get called while on the bus, or when I go home after the morning run, hey, I need you back at 10:30 to run this route. While I'm on that route, hey, I need you to come back, park that bus, and get on this bus. That's a sub's job. Now, the average driver, depending on whether you're in county or out of county usually starts early. An out of county bus can start anywhere from 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning. And out of county buses take Charles County students to schools outside of the county, from Baltimore to Fairfax County. To
whoa, a second, hold on.
Yes.
What?
Hold on, bring that back.
When you have special need kids, if it's a school outside of their county that offer what they need, that county's responsible for transporting that child to that school.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So you have some drivers driving as far as Baltimore
Yeah.
Yeah.
daily.
Daily.
Fairfax County. Yep.
Okay, I didn't know that. All right, yeah, please continue.
And then you have your standard driver where some 1 hour drivers, his run starts at 5:54 in the morning. And literally his first school is Madonna, and he has 25 stops before he starts to the school.
Before he starts heading towards the school to drop
He
the
has
kids.
25
stops. Okay.
stops.
Let me ask you this. So this driver, 25 stops, gets done with it. Bathroom, was he just going to the side of the road? Like, how does that?
He actually has, because I've driven his bus, he has about a 15-minute layover. In your layover, you usually lay over in an area close to your next school, your first stop, which it gives him a break time. There is one bus in the evening. She's moving straight through. She stops for 5 minutes at a gas station to use the bathroom, get back on the bus, and head to her school. You got some that don't break at all, because 1 hour drivers, she has transfer students from North Point that when she leaves North Point, she goes down to Malcolm. So she's not stopping at all until she gets to Malcolm, other than dropping the kids off.
So, in giving an overview, you have buses that pick up the students for high school, so that they're there first, and then they drop those students off. And then they go pick up the students for the middle school, and then they drop those students off. Then they go pick up the students for the elementary school. So as she was saying, sometimes there's no time between the various drop-offs and pickups, particularly if there's a delay at a school.
Yeah.
Not to mention the issues you could have on the bus dealing with the kids.
Mm.
Or the,
So-
or the roads in Charles County.
Right. So that could be your morning, and that could be anywhere from 3 to 4 hours. Now they say 3 hours, but a lot of drivers it's actually more. And then again, we're talking about sometimes you have to fuel the bus.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's additional time, and then you go through the same process in the afternoon when you pick up. You pick up the high school, drop them off, head to the middle school, drop them off, and then head to the elementary school and drop them off. And often there are delays, and so it's just a situation where right now you have, as I said, some drivers are having to hit 2 different routes or 3 different routes to take them to the same school, which is why you have some kids that are late. Okay, then they still have to go to their next series, the middle school, then to the elementary, and it can happen in all 3 instances.
And I think the evening is the worst because some kids are driven to school in the morning but catch the bus home in the evening, where I think Westlake is the best one, where you got buses that have to drop off one set of kids, go back to Westlake to pick up the second set to drop them off because they're running 2 routes.
And in between that, then you have some stops where you pick up students and you have to take them to a ancillary school. For instance, you might have kids at one high school that have to go to another high school. So you have 2 high schools that morning. You still have your middle. So it just depends. And so a lot of times, as she was saying, you don't really have a chance for a break.
What about games? High school games?
Well, that's another
We
thing.
really have. I mean, they eliminate a lot of that, but you have those are bidded on by contractors.
Okay.
They bid on who does the trips.
And that's a trip run,
Right.
where
Okay.
it's specified, but that's not part of your normal daily routes.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now you get day trips, but those are booked by the schools themselves.
And you're compensated separately for trips and such, if
If it's after your work hours, you're compensated differently.
How many hours a day you think you're
The
working?
we're guaranteed 6.
6 hours? How many hours you think you're working a day?
It depends on the routes
Right.
that you have.
It's the longest day you've ever had.
Yeah, some people work a lot longer than 6 hours.
How long we're talking? Is that curiosity?
You got some 8.5 up to 9 hours, some 10.
Some 10 hours.
I want to get back to something real quick. So the day trips, right? You say if it's after your regular hours, you get compensated separately.
You get your regular hourly rate because you might. When I say day trips, they what is it over at St. Charles, the Science Center over at St. Charles? You might run that. You're just getting a regular hourly rate for the hours that you work.
I feel
Is that-
Versus a weekend trip,
Yes.
it's priced differently.
But okay, so let's say during the school day, if there's a trip, do you all have to run your route in the morning?
Yes.
Then come back, pick up the class for the trip, take them there, bring them back, and then run your afternoon route, and you
Yep.
don't get compensated.
You get compensated, but it's just your regular hourly rate. It's no overtime. It's no time and a half.
Lord. Okay. Oh, okay.
It's just straight time.
Yo.
It's a losing proposition, and it's just set up. It's just a bad setup altogether.
That's
so,
absurd.
It's set up so the contractors make money.
That's
Right.
right.
That's the way it's set up.
Oh, because
Because
it's
we
working
get
the way it should.
We get the hours. They get the mileage and fuel costs. That's what they get paid for.
Any school board members support you at all? Pascal was asking.
In the beginning, they said they did,
Uh-oh.
but then we didn't see them again after that.
Oof.
Board of Education.
Lucas Hancock.
Hey.
Battle Lockhart.
Yeah,
Well,
there's-
he actually stood out there and tried to talk to us. Lucas,
He did.
I support you. Just call on me. We ain't heard from the man since.
and-
Drop names. I love it. Go on, Mr. Earl.
well, you have one who was the chairman, and then she stepped down, and she's running for
County commissioner.
county commission.
Oh my God.
And
Latina.
every time we talked to her. She said, "Oh, see your contractor. See your contractor." So we have a very special place for her, and since she's running against Ruben.
Oh yeah, I already gave my thoughts on that one. Latina Wilson wasting her money
Right.
on signs, and even on board, school board didn't want her as president.
Correct. So we'll see. Well, I can't think of anything else. You guys have been.
I mean, they have any more questions for us?
Yeah, you guys have been
It's time to
real
slow down a bit.
professional.
Thank you. As of you,
yeah,
first of all, love the combination.
Right, real professional, and I will use the term dodge. I'm gonna get beat up. We didn't really dodge you. My whole thing was, let's get some victories, because if we came out of this thing and only won 2 or 3 lots, we wouldn't have the leverage that we have now, and so we don't have a problem now with explaining what we're doing, what we've done, and what our goals are, and we have leverage. So
And also too as well, no issue with that at all. You had to take your time to, like you said, get your W's and come on here to talk about it. Zach, anyone else has a question? Rapid fire, just throw it in here real quick. Zach Ball, I know you asked this earlier too as well. Thank you for typing it again. What is the process that you go for endorsing a school board candidate? Is it just talking to them on the phone, meet with them, going to a forum, or how does that work?
Well, one of the things that with Amalgamated Transit Union, over the years, we've had these forms that we have the candidates to fill out, and a lot of it deal with the labor issues, and we evaluate it. But this time we're going to ask the questions. We're going to try to get some of the new members on board, not to be so hard against us and our tax dollars. We want them to be more accountable for our tax dollars, and we're gonna have that seat at the table. Our goal is to make sure that these members are properly represented, and there's no more of this one contractor doing one thing, the other contractor doing something else, and not paying these people for what they deserve. Like I said, I've spent a lot of years, even before the Teamsters. Even before Amalgamated, I was involved with the Teamsters. So I've got a few gray hairs up here for a reason.
Working hard for
Yeah,
years
I know.
now. Understandable.
Okay. Nicole asks, Nicole obviously running for Charles County School Board District 3, also a friend of the podcast too as well. What would you like to see from future school board members? Leftwich, I get to you in a little bit.
Well,
We want to see, we want to see support. We want to see accountability, especially when it comes to the contractor. It has to be some clear accountability, not just with them, with transportation, and the superintendent. It has to be some accountability, because right now, when it comes to discipline in the buses, it's not there.
Discipline for the children.
Right.
Okay.
It is not there. No matter how hard a driver screams on this radio for help, no matter how many times they call the schools for help, it's not there. We can complain. Nothing happens. They supposed to be having a disciplinary review board set up. This supposed to took place last year.
Charles County?
Yeah. That transportation wants to institute. It's been one meeting. There's supposed to be one coming up. And it's almost the end of the school year. Now, if you're going to work throughout the summer and institute this program to go in effect next school year, then let's do it. Because I'm one of the persons that's actually part of it. Because I've actually found newfound respect for bus drivers and attendants. I'm be honest with you, being in law enforcement, I didn't like them. I felt like they held up traffic. so on. So, but doing the job, I found a newfound respect. Where I told somebody I'd rather go back and chase a criminal than drive the bus sometimes. That's how bad it is. I mean, you got drivers screaming on the radio. I have a fight on my bus. Nobody comes up on the air, from transportation to the school.
Oh, you on your own on that bus?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But what's the purpose of having a two-way radio if you don't have somebody monitoring that radio at all times, from the schools to transportation?
Right.
Right, just there just to meet the contract or. Hey, it's there.
Requirement.
Yeah, exactly. So Leftwich wants to know. So, all right. So these are kids too, as well. Is this question? Weed on the bus, smoke. I deal with a lot of it.
It has happened.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
Right. It's
Sure.
not
High
something
school.
that happened often.
Yeah, that's not a major issue.
Right.
Yeah. There you go, Leftwich. You asked like 5 times. So
And he did, and he
Yeah.
even gave a bus number too. Like,
I ain't going that hard right there. These are children. I ain't about to dox anybody live
that
on
is
BNY.
hilarious. Like,
I ain't about to do that. I ain't.
Mm-hmm.
Uh oh. Yeah, we
that,
the opposite. No.
that bus is notorious.
Yeah.
Apparently.
God, like a cloud coming through. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Diary Butler, Washington. We understand your concerns. We are with you. You need to be paid your worth. Obviously, Diary Butler, Washington, running for school board. Derek Terry. Does the county pay towards contractors' retirement? Any idea?
The contractors are the employees, which one he want to know about.
Well, I guess he's asking, does the county put anything towards their retirement as far as the contractors?
Oh, I
Do
see
the
what that
contractors
is.
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a retirement?
I don't think so.
Well, this is, I guess, about 10 or 12 years ago.
Uh-oh.
But my understanding is the owners were part of the county system, and they were removed. So that's something that we really want to look into. You know, if you look at this retirement plan that they have, everything favors them. You know, and it's really sad. You know, so when you making $1 million, $1.5 million a year, you should be able to put monies aside for your retirement in the 457, 401, or whatever, when you have that type of income coming in. But up until 10 years ago, my understanding is that the contractors were part of the county, the owners were part of the county retirement plan. They have what's called a defined benefit plan. So they could put in, let's say, 20 years and age 62 and get a pension for the rest of their life.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that works 40 years driving a bus be lucky to have $25,000, $30,000, and what can you do with that now? You can't even buy a new car with it.
What
No.
the girl tell you? She 10 years in, and she had what, $10,000? $1,000 for every year she's been working.
Yeah. She was the first one to bring it to my attention. She had $10,000 in, but we have people 14 years in with $6,000 and $7,000. You have some folks that come to work to the system and they don't tell them about anything so far as the retirement, and they may go to 3 contractors before they realize, oh, there's some type of retirement plan. It's not even a good savings. They would be better off to take their monies out, go down to the credit union. At least for one thing, it would be insured, and they may not get a great return, but you wouldn't have to risk it under this. What is it?
There's a lot of tax penalties as well dealing with certain companies when you pull your money out too.
Well, yeah, because you have 22% that you have to pay for Fed, and normally about 7 to 8 for state. And with their system, you can't even pull it out.
Unless
You got
separate.
Nationwide. They invest in their pension in Nationwide, and trust me, Nationwide, damn sure ain't on their side.
Well, one of the things that should probably be added is the fact that a lot of contractors don't give you a orientation with a packet of benefits or even inform you that there is any kind of retirement, as little as it may be. Basically, you can work for a contractor for years and not know that there's any type of benefits available to you at all. A number of drivers and attendants don't get anything because they weren't told, nothing was presented. There's nothing formalized. It's up to the contractor as to whether or not they even want to expose that they are getting a percentage to put into your retirement from the county, as little as it is. Some contractors don't give you that information when you start the job, and you could drive for years without knowing it.
Got a comment from Deron Charleston here, running for school board District 3. The contractors were removed in 2001 under the superintendent before Dr. Hill, and the information is listed under the board docs. Okay.
No, I can't pull that.
Yeah. Okay.
Take a look. All right. I think we reached that time.
Yeah.
About 2 hours in.
Yep.
Yeah. Before we go, though, obviously we do every single guest on here. I'd like to thank you, absolutely, for your time spending it with us.
Absolutely.
Is there any final words you'd like to say? That anybody like to speak to? Oh, actually, I have one more question. Did we get to the name of the contractors?
No, I didn't want to dive that or ask that. I wasn't sure if that was something that we were privy to share.
Yeah,
Well,
what
you can
wanna
go-
know?
The name of the contractors.
Oh yeah, well you can they can Google. But Mr. Ned has, if you want to go down. You want the names?
I want the names.
Okay,
The
do
names.
you want the names we
You
were
want the company names.
successful with, or you just want all of them?
I want the names. It's public.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, it's public information.
Yeah, you can pull it up.
So, basically,
I love the notes.
online, but you have Albert Bus Services, you have B&J Transportation, you have Buck P. and Sons Bus Service, you have Catherine Keller, Edwin Keller, actually you have Helen Keller, you have E. Keller III, you have Keller Transportation, you have Celestine Dyson, you have Dyson Bus Service and Dyson Trucking, you have Compton Bus Service, D&J Buses, Dinks Bus Service, G&M Transportation, G. Wade Compton, H&H Bus Service, H.O. Chef, and Nanny's Bus Company. You have James Duffy. You have James Stone. You have PNC Dunnington. You have Ruth Coke, as well as Coke Trucking. You have Stanley Bus Company.
Who trucking?
Coats.
Coats.
Koch.
Miss Pounds.
Oh,
Coach.
Okay.
okay.
And you have Stanley Bus Company, and you have Swan Transportation Incorporated.
And just know this. They fought us on union, and they actually belong to an association for all contract bus drivers in the state of Maryland.
So they're unionized and they're fighting you unionizing. Ain't that something?
I don't know whether they're unionized,
Right,
but,
but
they
It's still a collective of
right.
some
It's,
sort.
right. It's an association
Yeah.
that works together, and they pay what's equivalent to they pay fees,
Right.
and where they criticize and mislead their members about the union and
The dues.
The dues. The sad thing about it, they use Metro's dues, which are $67.75 a month, but the average Metro operator is anywhere from 65,000 up to 120. So, so I don't mind paying if I'm dragging those figures in. I don't mind paying 67, but they use that as a barometer to scare tactics to scare people, saying, well, you making 23,000, how you going to afford to
$67.
Union dues.
$67. And another one they got away with was the fact that if they went on strike, that they could replace them, and they would never have a job. And so our counter was, well, if it's a legal strike and it's organized, I mean, and it's certified by the union and the international, scabs cannot replace you. Once they have a right to hire bus drivers while
Fill
you're
in.
on strike, but once the strike is over, then those guys that were there get their jobs back. I mean, we went through that in the 80s, but the National Labor Relations Board has ruled if it's a legit strike, which you have a right to exercise your rights, and it's authorized, then if they replace you, the scabs have to go once the strike is over. So they did a few of them did a pretty good job of misleading the members. And then you had another contractor who told them, said, look, y'all vote against the union and let's see what Duffy did, because
Right.
let's see what they do over the next year. But he's going to take in $3.5 million for 35 or 37 routes. So he's going to fatten his pockets over
And
the
Duffy getting paid.
over
Right.
over the next year.
We were actually.
Defer.
I'm not going to. A lot of people. I'm not going to say we, because my drivers and attendants collectively, we were the first ones to vote, and it was 18-0.
Oh.
And that scared a lot of them.
Zach Ball says, wouldn't the scabs be uncertified drivers?
Yeah.
And you can't have an
Certified, yeah.
right
The
driver
county-
behind the wheel.
Yeah, the county would have to
Oh, hold on a second. Take the mic. Yeah.
Yeah, the county would have to certify them, but who knows? But I'll say this: the last tool that we will use as a union is in the toolbox is to strike. That's the last one. But if it happens, it will be authorized, and the strike fund through the union will be available. If you look at Centerbed, and you look at the DC Circulator, ATU 689 doesn't strike often, but when they do, we have always been successful in strikes. So you can go back and to the 60s, the Wildcat strikes that we had, we've always been successful. The longest one was Centerbed, and that was 80 days. They got everything they wanted and some more. Circulator, the DC Circulator, which the work was promised to Metro, but they privatized it. They just wound up 3 days with them. They got everything they wanted and more. So, and I can think about the times at Metro, my years there, that we did not strike, and we had binding arbitration. And if you look in the paper, I think 2018, they were awarded somewhere about $82 million in back pay and wages. So I'm telling folks, you have a strong union behind you, and we need to rock and roll.
Let's get it.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
Last words, go around. Mr. Ned.
Well, it has taken a while, but because of what Mr. Beatty was saying about the core group who spent sometimes 6-8 hours a day, and I mean some weeks we would be together or being working out issues where we would spend literally 5-6 hours a day in order to bring us to the point where we are right now. And so it's been a journey, but I just give praise and glory to God that the group came together and we had the ability, the collective skills to go ahead and bring about the opportunity for an average bus driver and attendant to have a livable wage and benefits and a retirement.
Well, thank you. I'm just, first of all, I want to give thanks and praise to you guys for having us.
Absolutely.
To help us spread our message, because this is part of it. This is the hardest part now. It's like a campaign. It's like a campaign that never ends.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, because I've been in these down in the trenches, and I've represented over 3,000 bus operators at Metro in their grievance process for better than 15 years. Half of my career was spent with ATU Local 689. So I know the power behind that union and what we can do. And if we stay focused and stay on the right track, we're going to make it happen here in Charles County. And you guys will be credited with helping us spread the word. We brought a lot of good folks in, just watching our work and watching what we've been doing here in this county, and we plan to put it on the map. Okay.
Hey, we're just glad to help. You know,
That's
We're
right.
all for it.
absolutely.
That's
Lord.
what it's all about.
Laura Kelly, thank you, bus drivers, for all you do every day. Teachers support you. Valerie Butler Washington, thank you for sharing information, and now we can help you fight for better wages. Pascal, it's the union's Facebook page, the Charles County School Bus Drivers in Attendance.
Say that again.
The union's Facebook page, is that the Charles County School Bus Drivers in Attendance?
No, that's our page.
That's
That's
your
we,
page.
we have an association.
Right.
And that's-
Okay.
Yeah, and that's our page.
That's our page.
Okay, but that page could be followed for all your information.
Right.
Okay.
We put everything on there.
Zach Ball for school board. Thank you, bus drivers. There it is. Crystal, any last thoughts for the night?
Last thoughts. We're in this till we win it, and we're going to make sure our drivers collectively, we're not we're a group.
Mm-hmm.
We're a family, and we're going to make sure we get our worth.
Absolutely.
There it is. See, Deron, the budget start. He's got a detailed version of line items. 23 million, 23.7 carried over, not counting grants. Interesting. Carlos Childs, Commissioner, District 3 candidate. You all are powerhouse. Now we fight for higher wages, better benefits, and respect. Left with solidarity. And Angela, thanks everyone. So, hey, number love. For us, Dev, we hey, that's 3 podcasts in 4 nights. Round of applause for the work we've been doing
We
here.
made it happen, Captain.
Last
That's what
night
we do.
got a lot of good sleep.
Yeah.
Get back ready for tonight. Apologize for my lateness. Had to take care of some issues. Nothing bad. But we're good to go. Next time we'll be on will be June 1st with Derek Larson, Sheriff.
Yeah, we're taking the week off.
Yeah. Because we won't be here.
Much deserved.
Memorial Day weekend, and hopefully we do 2 podcasts that week. Next week.
Yeah,
Hopefully
that's
second one. We'll talk about later.
Yeah, about to say.
Yeah. Your schedule's good for that? The date we mentioned?
Oh yeah. Oh, you talking about the second?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll
all right.
let you know that.
All right, we'll reach out to who we need to reach out for that one, but hopefully we'll be able to give you a podcast on the 1st and the 2nd. Yeah, stay booked and busy. That's right, Pascal.
Absolutely. You know how we are, Pascal. You know how we
Sean
rock.
putting in overtime. That's right, Zach Ball. Time for some being. Hey, I told Zach Ball what he's the only one to ask what BNY should stood for. I gave him a story. So yes, after every podcast, me and Deb, we
You know.
yeah, we
We talk.
yeah, as gentlemen do. So enjoy your much deserved break. We're still on social media, so we're still here. I know Derek Terry's doing something on the 31st as far as the live podcast on this, I believe, streamed through his YouTube page. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But I know May 31st he's doing a live, so. And this that should be a pretty explosive episode, so we'll definitely share that to the BNY page too as well. So take a look out for Derek Terry's his May 31st podcast. Not true, I asked too, and sorry, Shauna did ask. That's right.
She did, but I did, that was before.
I wasn't
We were
here.
live.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I came in late for that one. I didn't know, Sean. I wasn't even here. Yeah, so I apologize though. Left which I did. So. Did he? He did. He
More
did
like
kind of. Yeah. All good though. All good. Left which I'll make your dreams come true here soon though. You've been asking for something, so we may be able to deliver for you. That's all we have as far as here. Once again, Please like, share the podcast, get some message out for the bus drivers too as well. Charles County, obviously, Precious Cargo, our children. So definitely love it.
Let's support the people that get them home there and back safe every day. Like, why not support that group? So.
Trust you, with my kids. So yeah, let's get y'all what y'all need. Absolutely.
Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll be back on in a week. Until then, Bonaparte.
We out.
That's it.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
You know, I used to work with Derek.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. You said you work with who?
With Derek Lawson.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.